If you're watching this, you probably don't know who to play, and I don't blame you. There are too many characters in this game. This is the ultimate... Can you stop?
Sorry, ultimate.
Oh, you're out.
Sorry.
You're fired. This is the ultimate guide to figure out which character is best for you. We will dive into every type of character today, looking at their strengths and weaknesses. You can see timestamps below for all the different types if you want to go back and look at that. Now, let's get right into this.
The first characters that we're going to start to go over are the all-around characters. And if you're looking for a character that is easy, you don't want to try to play a game, you just want to use the same moves over and over again and have it work, these characters are good, they're easy to learn, but they don't excel in a lot. Examples of these characters are Mario, Palutena, Pit, Yoshi, and the Mii Fighters. These are characters in the all-rounder archetype, and these can be classified kind of as the jack of all trades but master of none. They're flexible and good for mostly any scenario. These characters can easily alternate between offensive and defensive gameplay as the situation demands. So they're easy to learn, they have balanced stats overall, and they have a good offensive and defensive. But their disadvantage is that they usually don't excel in a lot. And if you want to master this character, you'll have much more of a challenge. So these characters are good for secondary or pocket.
So if you're looking for strong rushdown characters that are really always in your face, always up close, always trying to attack you, you have these characters, which consist of Fox, Pikachu, Pichu, Zero Suit Samus, Sheik, and Joker. So these characters are always on you, they're really fast, they're really good at close combat. They even have moves that are designed just to go in, like Fox's dash attack, which you can get just free combos from. Pikachu has like neutral B, which he runs with, so he has many ways to just attack. Sheik has needle. They all have ways to just get in, get up close, and then combo you. And lucky if you like these characters are all good, so they're just really strong. The one weakness with these characters can be that they're a little hard to learn sometimes. I know Pikachu is a little weird, Joker can be a little weird for some people, and their defense isn't the best. Don't look at Pikachu for that, and don't look at Zero Suit for that either. So disadvantage with these characters is that they can be kind of hard to learn. They kind of have to play in a weird way, where they go in and then when they get attacked, they have kind of a hard time like surviving the attack. Like Pikachu's light, Fox has a really bad recovery. Sometimes Zero Suit gets skimped, it's rare. So these characters do have poor defense. They also kind of struggle a little bit against like trappers and zoners. So that's a little bit of their weakness. They're a double-edged sword. But besides that, they're just really strong all around.
The next archetype we're going over is the mid-range fighters. And these characters are mostly good at punishing, they're typically fast, and they can choose to play far away or up close. And I could say this like the next step above all-rounder. They're pretty good all around. They have a good offense, a good defense, and they can switch between the two, but they're a little harder to learn than the all-rounders. So these mid-range fighters include pretty much all of the swordy characters, Ryu and Ken, Diddy Kong, Little Mac, Meta Knight, and Greninja. All characters that have they have specific tech, they're harder to learn overall, and you mainly want to focus on what your opponent's doing. They're good punishers. So these characters listed are a mix of two archetypes. They're a mix of like pressurers and footsies. Pressurers are characters that focus on close range combat, and usually exploit openings and weaknesses on their enemies very quickly. And characters with the footsies archetype are characters that excel at close range combat, and they have superior priority and speed on their attacks. So these characters are much more faster, and although they're faster, they're less combo oriented than rushdown characters, but they really excel from their attack power. So like I said, their advantages include punishing, they're typically fast, and they can switch between the offense and defense, so they're all-around characters in that sense. But their disadvantage is that they need to maintain a certain distance to be a threat, so they can't just go like up close and punish you. They have to like kind of space themselves in the right area.
If you're looking for strong zoners, I can recommend these characters for you: Samus, Duck Hunt, Link, Robin, Lucas, Mega Man, Ness. What these characters do is they throw projectiles across the stage, and they force you to do some option, whether it's jump or shield. and you have to sort of make your way in. You have to come at them. So if you like keeping people at bay, making them come to you, these characters are really good at that. You're going to be forcing them to jump or shield, and then you have to read what they do. So you're keeping them out. And zoners are also really good at controlling the stage. They have multiple projectiles, or they just have fast projectiles to do that. Sometimes these characters lack speed and power. That kind of is their downside, because if they had speed and power and projectiles, they would be really strong. So they just are slow, and that's kind of what you have to get used to being a zoner. You're gonna be slow, but you have to keep them out. So the advantages of these characters are they have very good range. They're really good at keeping people away. They're good at racking up damage from a distance. And their disadvantages is, again, they are really bad up close. They're slow. Sometimes their normal moves are not that good, so they're going to get jumped on a lot.
If you want a fast character that can control the flow of the match, a runaway character is the right character for you. These characters include Wii Fit, Jigglypuff, Sonic, Olimar, and Steve. Keep away characters are generally fast. They're like melee characters, and they excel on getting in and out of their opponent's range. While they might not have a lot of powerful attacks, they're quick enough to keep their distance and approach as fast as they retreat, or they have a lot of options that keep their opponents away, and this allows them to punish the mistakes of their opponents. They excel in getting in and out of the opponent's space, and they don't get a lot of damage rack up, but they really just keep their opponents away and punish them right when they can. These are considered annoying characters, and they don't let anyone react. They can stall the match. So an advantage is that they can gain a lot of momentum in the right scenarios. Like if they just keep running away and they just strike at just the right moment, they'll overwhelm their opponent and they won't let their opponent do anything. And they can also time out people in matches. So you can see Jigglypuff stalling in the air, Steve will just run away and build a house. And these are especially an advantage against zoners, or just anyone who can't really catch them, doesn't have the speed or the options to catch them. But these characters always have to supply something, like Wii Fit has her neutral B, Wii Fit has to breathe, Jigglypuff always needs jumps, Sonic just runs away, so if someone is fast enough to catch Sonic, he's messed up. And Olimar and Steve have to resupply their tools, like their Pikmin or mine, to get more tools. So that's a big disadvantage for these characters.
If you're looking for characters with big combos, big pressure, and good advantage, I can recommend these characters for you. Falco, Captain Falcon, Peach, Game & Watch, Bayonetta, Min, Pikachu. So these are pressure characters, and they focus on close range combat, usually exploit openings, weaknesses on their enemies very quickly. Characters with this archetype tend to overwhelm their opponent and punish them with really high damage combos, leaving no room for reaction. While Game & Watch falls under a Glass Cannon archetype and Min a zoner, Glass Cannon characters have some of the more powerful attacks in the game, but expensive of having low defensive capabilities. They tend to dish out damage very fast and often have superior range. However, aside from lower defense, they also have some kind of heavy exploitable weaknesses. So for advantages, these characters are really good at taking stocks at 0. Pretty sure every character on the list can take a stock at 0. And this also leads to them being good at keeping the lead. They can just, keep killing people and just stay above. Same thing with comebacks, they can just kind of come back really quick. Disadvantages, these characters can get a little bit predictable. They might go for the same stuff. Falco might fish for an up tilt, and these characters will kind of go for the same idea, and this can lead to them being kind of predictable. That's kind of one of their weaknesses. They might have something that they go for a lot that really has a downside. Like Bayonetta has her side B, which is kind of very punishable if she misses it. And then there's characters like Min that really don't have much except their close range combat being a little weak. But yeah, these characters are very good at just taking stocks early, and they're really strong.
If you're looking for a character that's big, strong, and can power through their opponent, a heavy brawler is good for you. These characters include Terry, Wario, Wolf, King K. Rool, Ganon, and Bowser. These characters don't really care about getting hit or trading with their enemy, and they usually come equipped with super armor. These beefy characters typically are heavy and don't tend to die. And their advantages, like I said, they're usually, a lot of their moves have super armor, or they have very reliable options with super armor on them. Like take Terry's special moves, for example. And they're heavy, so they're hard to kill. So characters that don't have very strong moves will struggle against these characters because they won't die. And they also have strong moves themselves, so they kill early, or they have a lot of kill options. And their big disadvantage is that they're big, so they'll just get comboed, and they typically have bad or exploitable recoveries. So usually they don't have a lot of mix-ups for their recovery, or they can just get spiked or countered very easily.
If you're looking for grapplers, I can recommend Luigi, Donkey Kong, Ridley, Ice Climbers, and Incineroar. So the reason they're called grapplers is because they're really good at grabbing you and then taking you to really high percents, forcing you to do a thing that's good against grab, like spot dodge, and then they'll punish you for it. So these characters are very good at conditioning. They kind of wait for you to get close and then they'll punish you with a grab and then you explode, or they go in and they know you're going to do something good against grab and then they punish you for it, like jump or spot dodge again. So these characters are just really strong for that. They're really good against shield. If you hate attacking shield over and over again, you could just grab through it, go through the shield. And the disadvantages with these characters is that they sometimes get predictable with their grabs. You'll see that sometimes Luigi's only spam their grab button and then they get punished for it. Or maybe their grab is kind of slow and they kind of explode for going for a grab. So these characters kind of get predictable, so you have to be careful.
If you're looking for a character that can trap and set up your opponent, you should play a character like Pac-Man, Villager or Isabelle, Zelda, Rosalina and Luma, Snake, or the Belmonts. These characters are a combination of a few different archetypes. Some specifically are utterly defensive, tending to avoid opponents and lure them with traps. And this applies a lot of pressure. This is a character like Villager or Isabelle. They have way less defense and will tend to run away, while others excel at keeping opponents at bay by having a variety of long-range attacks. And they're very adaptive to different situations, and they tend to cover all of their opponent's weak points. But all of these characters, despite having different strategies and different play styles, they all utilize their special moves to lure their opponents and build up damage, and they use them for kill setups. The advantages of these characters are that they can cover lots of options, especially if you're a character that have a lot of projectiles or a lot of setups, like the Belmonts, Snake, and Pac-Man. These characters also have lots of kill setups, and they can be pretty unpredictable of what they do because they have so many options. And this can be a very hard matchup for the opponent because they have so many options. You need to know the matchup to succeed fighting one of these characters. One of the only downsides to these characters are that they usually need space to do things, like zoners do. So they will struggle against people that are in their face if they don't have time to set up these traps. Like, how are they going to do anything? So this is a big disadvantage for them.
Now for our final category, we have the unique gimmick. So the characters that fall into this are Hero, Shult, Cloud, Joker, Pokemon Trainer, Pirate Mythra, and Lucario. And these characters have something unique about them, whether it's a comeback mechanic, they can switch between different characters, they have a meter they need to keep building up, whether it's by hitting or charging something, or maybe they can bring out a menu and choose something which affects how they move, or maybe it's an attack. So these characters are different from the rest of the cast. They're a harder matchup for the opponent if they've never played against that character before. That is something that's going to bring them down against somebody who has played against the character before. And that's also a disadvantage for these characters. So relying on a gimmick, they need to keep using that gimmick. Hero needs to keep getting the MP back. Cloud needs to charge his limit if he wants to get it back. Pyro and Mythra, the characters have their own weaknesses, and if they have to switch, that can be an opening for the opponent. So they can be exploited if someone knows the matchup, and they're also good at exploiting people who don't know the matchup. And that was Who Should You Play? So the inspiration from this video came from us not really knowing who to play, and we were kind of thinking about like what kind of characters fit into what kind of categories. And we really hope this helps some people that don't know who to play. You would think like a big roster just finds somebody, but it's not that easy. It's actually kind of harder since there's so many characters, so many types of characters that do so many different things. So we really hope this helps some people out. And if you like this type of video, make sure to like, drop a sub, leave a comment on if this helped you pick a character, or maybe we said something wrong about a character. And yeah, see you guys around.